Alright guys, this is Two Guys and a Few Good Men, Movie Lowdown. This is Garrett only. TJ is probably working right now. I wanted to do something myself because I was just blown the frick away this week, Monday to be precise. Wow. We got an early screening of Midway, which, if you don't know, it is the story after Pearl Harbor, which leads to the Battle of Midway, which is kind of a turning point in the U.S. winning World War II. Hopefully I got that right, because that's right. This movie was terrible. Holy crap. Roland Emmerich. Let's talk about Roland Emmerich films. He's done a lot of really good films. He's done a lot of great films, such as, I want to say, Independence Day was really revered. The Patriot was really revered. But White House Down was terrible. 10,000 BC was garbage. And his Godzilla movie in 1998 was garbage as well. But man, he shit on this movie so hard. My God. Where to begin? This movie starts out bad. Like, the dialogue is so cliche. It is... I can't tell you how many times I rolled my damn eyes in this movie and checked my phone to see if something better was going on. Like, I was just sitting there waiting for work to call me and be like, hey, there's a fire, we need you to get down here and take care of it. And this movie was so boring, and I felt so bad because apparently, like, they did a screening, because there's a bunch of people that sat above us, and I guess that was military members, which is great. Thank you to our military for protecting us, doing everything they can, being the front line. So that was really cool. But man, he just shit on this movie so hard. Oh, where do I begin? Like I said, the cheesy dialogue in this movie was just like, it's like they pulled diaries from the 1940s and just went to town. Like, Roland Emmerich found a bunch of, like, novelized things from the 1940 and, like, took every cliche he could out of the 1940s dialogue, put it in the movie, and yeah, it was really cringy dialogue. There was stuff in it that, like, you could tell he was trying to be genuine and have these people, like, talking like the 1940s, and we're getting it done. We're doing it now, and we're doing it, it was just... next up, let's talk about the acting. Man, they had a fucking great cast. A great cast. Ed Skrein, I don't know. Played in Game of Thrones. Deadpool as Ajax. Great guy, great actor. He was actually okay in this. Patrick Wilson played a commander, Edwin Layton. Terrible, and I don't think any of these actors were doing it because they can't act. Luke Evans, Aaron Eckhart, Nick Jonas. Nick Jonas was terrible in this movie. He was so bad. Like, I was excited to actually see him because we talked about him on the podcast, on the Movie Lowdown podcast, and I can't remember his dialogue, but, like, there's a couple times where he played, like, the smart ass, and he ended up being smart to somebody, and Just it was bad. Mandy Moore was in this. Mandy Moore, good to see you're still acting. Woody Harrelson, who once again has the most unbelievable haircut in this movie. He's got like white hair and it's like slicked up and it looks like he's had it for years, and it's obviously just glued on there, but it looks super obvious. And Dennis Quaid's in this, and he's got a hilarious scene, and it's not supposed to be hilarious, but they write it so bad. It was like somebody just watched documentaries for like a month, and that's what he went on this for. At one point, he gets like a rash in it, and he's like, "I got a rash," and he like commentates that, like so everyone knows, when you can actually like see it. Like they make a really good scene of it, but they made like I got a rash, and I was like, oh god. And he's telling people what he's got, and they're like, you get out of here. You no need to be on the sick bay. And so Darren Criss, I don't know if that's Criss or whatever, but American Horror Story, and he was on Glee for a while, I believe. God, let's see. Jake Weber's in it. It's pretty much like everybody else. A couple people maybe from Japan. They're Japanese actors. I don't know. But yeah. Okay. So this movie, it had great actors, but terrible acting. I've never seen such an A-list class of actors give such a CD performance. Like, I feel like this was not produced by... I think this was produced by Roland Emmerich, but not directed. Either that or he was showing up drunk. It was produced by him. He probably just showed up drunk every day, like... Make it look good. Make it look good. I'm Roland Emmerich. I don't know what he looks like. No, he looks... Never mind. He looks like he's... Make it look good. I want coffee, too. Give me coffee. But yeah, this was so bad. This was such a bad movie. The CGI took away everything. I feel like if they did film on these liners, they did it and CGI'd the whole ship. Like, it looked bad. I'm looking at Scanline Visual Effects, what movies they've done, and recent projects. They're doing Black Widow, which is scary. They did Godzilla vs. Kong, which was good. Midway, Terminator Dark Fate, which is another one that's going to lose money, but Joker. So, really good animation studio, visual effects studio. Pixamundo also was in it. That might be what it is, because it doesn't look like that big of a company. It's from Germany. They have a headquarters in Los Angeles. But I'm guessing that's where a lot of that, probably a cheap company, so they didn't spend a lot of money on it. Not a lot of marketing for it. The poster was released June this year, on the 77th anniversary of Battle of Midway, I want to say. 76 or 77th. But yeah, that was what they did for marketing. I mean, you see it in commercials, but it just wasn't really a big presence like any of these other movies. Like, you'd think that they'd be like, come in for Veterans Day, or veterans come see this for free. If you are going to go see it for free, at least it is free, because walking out of that, it felt like, man, I am glad that was free, because if I spent $12.50 for that, I would have asked for my money back, straight up. So, but yeah, visual effects, going back to that, oh man, it took away, like I said, it took away a lot of what could have been. They could have actually filmed on some of the ships, or like, on some that were stopped and like animated over it, but it didn't look good. The plane scenes were very, very cartoonish sometimes. The fights were You're going around, spinning around, doing spinny loops and turny things, and yeah, it was sad. And like I said, the thing that really bugs me is that it was for, like, you know, veterans, and they wanted to make this for the people that are left that still talk about that war and were from that time in that era. So good thing is, at the end, they did do like I feel like typical Roland Emmerich thing to do is like give what all the people did at the end of the movie. You know, we've got. Oh, by the way, Lieutenant Dick Best was Ed Screen. I don't know how to say that. Let me look it up. Now I'm gonna feel like a dipshit. Scrane. So Ed Scrane. His character's name was Lieutenant Richard Dick Best, and like a lot of the things that happened to these characters, they shoehorned into the movie too. And I get that they happened. So like at one point, spoilers in case you don't know exactly what happened to Richard Dick Best. At one point, he had a bad mix of oxygen in his tank, and he even like narrates it like, it's like, oh, I got a bad oxygen tank, means my lungs are probably gonna burn up. And the other guy's like, oh, okay, like, do you want to like go back? And he's like, nah, I'm gonna tough this out. Like, and that's a fucking great. I love that. Like, but they just made it such a cringy dialogue that it was just like they were telling you what would happen instead of just being like and like coughing and showing blood on his hands. So you kind of like are insinuating that like maybe this was a bad idea. He like was being more brave by not going back and then coming back again. He wanted to get this done, and he did. And that's like the whole part of this movie is that it's, you know, he's the big hero of it. And oh man, they just butchered this poor movie. Easily worst movie of 2019, and I want to look up John Travolta, so I want to see if Gotti came out this year. If Gotti was out this year, that would probably be the worst movie. But this was this took the cake. This definitely took the cake. Let's see. Nope, 2018 was Gotti. But you know, he had the Fanatic too, which was just as bad, I guess. But yeah, this takes the cake for worst movie of the year. And how sad that it ended up being like one of the most expensive independent films ever. I want to say its budget was like $100 million for production, 100 or 200, 150. But hang on, let me look it up. And yep, yeah, 100 million. So like they're not gonna make any money back on this. They hoping people were gonna like go see this movie and put money into it. Sorry, but yeah, that's basically a review of this movie. That's, you know, really cringy dialogue, bad acting, bad CGI. I guess this is a pretty good recollection of it, which is good. I learned a couple things. Never really paid attention to World War II stuff, and learned a lot about planes and fighting tactics. And it starts off the movie with like a chess game. It makes sense because it was a giant chess game the whole time. So, but that being said, I just want to do a small movie review by myself because I'm just bored and I'm trying to do some editing techniques and I wanted to practice. So, hopefully you enjoyed this review. Go see this movie if it's free. by the way, let's really quickly before we end, just talk about the fact that the lady that obviously did the screening for our group at the beginning of it was like, I want to thank you all for coming out. This has been Midway, seen this early, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, but we really want your feedback, so if you could, at the end of the experience, if you can come out to the lobby and tell me what you think. And God damn it, TJ walked out of it so pissed off. Like, we got to, almost the doors, and he goes, no. He turns around and goes to talk to the lady, and thank God there was a line of people, because he was going to give her his peace of mind about this movie and how bad it was, and that was just hilarious. But I thought it was funny that they were, at the end of it, were like, yeah, we'd like your opinion on this, so that way we know what to not do next time. I'm from Lionsgate, don't mind me. But, yep, terrible movie. Lost a lot of, it's going to lose a lot of money, and I think they really did a disservice to a lot of veterans that were looking forward to a movie. For older people, I don't think they're really going to care. But younger veterans, I'm sure, would love to watch this. It probably would have been a lot better if it was a different director and had less CGI. But yeah, my name is Garrett. This was Movie Lowdown, just a small review. I did blab for a little bit, for 15 minutes. God damn it. But thank you for listening, and tune in for our Movie Lowdown this week. And that being said, have a good night, and thanks for listening.